Hi guys, once again welcome to the right channel. You know, on the right channel it's all about cars and motorcycles, and once again we are catching up with somebody we are quite familiar with. Rosie,
Hi.
you are once again welcome to the
Thank
right
you.
channel.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you. It's been a minute.
AIS. Yes. It's been a minute. Yeah, a lot has happened.
Plenty.
Yes, but the biggest of them is AIS.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and yes, so I promise that we catch up and you share your experience with us, because everybody wants to hear about what happens at AIS, around in 7 days. Okay, so let me just you, when we say AIS or around in 7, okay, guys pick up their bikes, put in their leave, at work, and decide to ride around the country, Ghana, in 7 days. Okay, so we have 16 regions. They touch all the 16 regions. They enjoy all the landscape, all the nice food that you can get it all. And one thing about Ghana is that every one of the 16 regions has some unique food. Okay, then you have unique sights and sounds.
That's true.
And yes, they go sampling all these things in 7 days on their motorcycles. Yes, you heard it right, motorcycles. So we've had this was the third one, right?
This was the third edition.
The third edition of AIS, and Rosina had the opportunity to go on that trip. So she's going to tell us everything that we need to know about it. Maybe you will be next to go on AIS. Helen, bless you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, what motivated you to get into AIS?
Okay, so naturally, someone who loves adventure.
Mm-hmm.
So even before I got into biking, I could be in Accra and just take off from Accra to, let's say, Tamale or to Kumasi, just to drive, maybe to attend a friend's, function or something. I enjoyed the whole driving.
Yeah.
I always wanted to ride, but I didn't get anybody to teach me how to ride.
Okay.
So when I got the opportunity to be taught by Daniela Shrifi, who is now my husband, I took the opportunity. So at the back of my head, I've always wanted to do adventure. So I think a year after riding, we rode to Togo. We went to Togo for a weekend. That was my first ride cross-border. And it's something that I've always loved to do. So when the concept of AIS came, I was actually very intrigued. I mean, the first year, I was wishing I could have gone, but unfortunately, I had just had my baby, and it was not practical to leave the baby behind and join my husband to go on the trip. So the second year also came to pass. My bike wasn't, what do you call it, adventure worthy. Yes. So I've actually been itching to be on the AIS trip for so long. So for the third one, we had to do a lot of investment, change the bike, and actually custom my bike fit for adventure. Yeah. So the bike that I used was the Yamaha GT900.
Tracer.
The Tracer, yes. And it's not typically an adventure bike. So what we did was that we changed the tires. Yeah. We had to get a guard for the sump and all of that. So a few things were done, and knowing Dan and his specialties, most of it was done for me to make it fit for the trip that we're supposed to embark on. So basically, I've always wanted adventure. So that's why, for me, AIS was like that trip I needed to do at all costs, no matter what. And it's not been easy. I mean, before the trip, apart from the financial considerations, it was also a mental game. Yeah. Being the first lady to join the gentleman on the trip, I needed to make sure that I wasn't going to draw the gentleman back. I also needed to be sure that, women issues don't crop up here and there. And I was it was a mental game. Would I be able to keep up? I mean, you've gone on several rides, but to do that in a space of 7 days, it means that there's really no time to rest. Pick up yourself, put yourself together. Yeah. So all I did was, get my essentials and my red lipstick, which is my signature thing. And then that was the only makeup I took with me. And then, got ready and went on the trip. So shall I go through the whole process?
All right. So, wonderful. Wonderful. So, lead up, you tell us that you had to customize your bike and do all those changes. Your bike being a Tracer 900 GT.
Yes.
Yes, that's the current model. Very, very updated bike. And you changed the tires.
I changed the tires.
Put some knobbies on it.
Yes, and then the some guard.
Some guard.
What's it called? The hand guards.
The hand guards, yeah.
Everything was sort of like customized so that in event of anything, you know.
But you had bags as well.
No, I didn't have bags.
You didn't have any
because
bags.
we had support vehicles.
Oh, okay.
So most of our
gear and luggage was in it.
So we had to take as part of the trip. Apart from the gear that we're wearing, we had spare gear. So I had a spare helmet, a spare jacket, spare boots, spare of everything. So those ones were being carried in the support vehicles that were following us on the trip.
Okay.
So I traveled light.
You traveled light also. Also.
I traveled light.
Wow, around. So can you walk us through the journey? Yeah, the journey. Yeah.
Okay, so we started from the Jolushel, and we gathered there. Everybody was there. Everybody was neat. As in our clothes were neat.
Yeah, to be fresh.
And then we're giving a lot of gear. This was Mona Lisa Global. He was our shirt sponsor.
Oh, okay.
So everybody had sets, 2 sets of the jerseys that we were wearing. We had water bags. We had the whole works. Everybody was geared, prepared, psyched up for the trip. Then we set off. Now, the first, we're going to Central Region. And for me, I have been there several times.
Yes, I mean, I've ridden with you
several times.
Almost Western Region
yes.
before.
So I was like, oh, Central Region, that should be a walk in the park. That shouldn't be anything. I've been to Cape Coast. I've been to Takrady. So to be honest, that was really a walk in the park. And then our first destination, the destination to the beach, I've forgotten the name.
Is it Elmina?
Not Elmina, Afro Beach.
Afro Beach, okay.
So the first destination where we slept was Afro Beach. Now, the ride was smooth, the ride was okay, until we got to the junction that said Afro Beach was towards the left. Now, as soon as we took that left, the road started getting bad. And it wasn't bad as in potholes, but it was actually beach sand.
Sandy.
Very sandy, deep sand over a long stretch. Most of us, or at least me, I have never really ridden. You know, sometimes you have pockets of sand, pockets of beach sand, but this was beach sand over a long stretch. And then having to carry yourself, and mind you, this was the end of the day.
Riding in sand is a totally different experience.
Yes, and this is riding in sand in the dark. And after doing so many miles on the bike, you know, it was, for me, it was one of, that was what started defining what I had ahead of me. So navigating through it, and I was bent on not dropping the bag. So I was actually ahead of most of my colleagues. And I was bent, but I got to a point, I was just so tired. My limbs were tired. I actually just stood up and said, look, let me just put the bike down to relax a little, because the stand could not hold in the sun. So I put it down for like 2 seconds, and then I saw a light ahead of me. I was like, okay, let me just pick it up and then go. So that's exactly what I did. So I picked it up.
Are you able to pick up the bike all by yourself?
I picked it because I was just tired. So I put it down, and then when I finished, I picked it up, and then I went to Afro Beach. Now, when we got to Afro Beach, as soon as we got there, so I had it in mind to take my my mileage at the end of every trip, to sort of like let me know how much I covered every day. I decided to pick my phone to do that, and I realized my phone was not with me. So my phone was gone. Wow. And I'm like, how is this possible? And I remembered that apparently when the bike fell, I actually took my phone to record the bike on the floor, and when I put it back into my waist bag, I probably didn't zip it properly. So a colleague also fell down, and I went to help him up, and I don't know, in the process, the phone fell. So now the question is trying to locate the exact place my phone fell at that time of the night in pure sand. We went back twice, we couldn't find it, so we just sort of like, okay, let's wait till the next day to see what happens. So that was my first experience. The second day...
did you find the phone?
Oh, so the second day...
okay, so that's the second day.
The phone was still not found, so we sent word out and all of that. So the second day, what happened was that, because it was an iPhone, we did the Find My iPhone and put dance number on it, so that in case someone found it, dance number would show. So on the second day, we had to ride to Cape 3 Points. So on our way to Cape 3 Points, then the person called, somebody found it and called that. And apparently my alarm rang on the phone, and he was passing by just when the alarm was ringing. So because of the sound of the alarm, he fished for it and then picked the phone up.
It was in the sand.
It was in the sand.
Wow.
I don't think it's something we could have found out if not for the alarm that went off. So we went and then went to Cape 3 Point. So later we had to come back into Sekondi Takrady to recover the phone from the gentleman. And I must commend him because this gentleman was purely, it was initially when he started calling us, he wanted to see the owner of the phone before he released it. In my mind, I thought this was somebody who wanted money for the phone. We went all the way there. He didn't want anything for the phone. So Dan actually sent him some money for bringing the phone. He actually returned it and said no, he didn't need the money for the phone. All he wanted to do was to return the phone to the owner. So I must applaud him a lot. I mean, he did very well, and yeah, we must commend.
We still have some good people around.
Yeah, we still have good people around.
Yeah.
And then we went to Cape 3 Points. The ride there was, I had a heavy fall.
That's where you had the heavy.
That's where I had the heavy fall. So now I don't get it. You know, the road to Cape 3 Points, it's clearly mapped out road, but it looks like construction that has been there for years.
Yes.
And I was wondering, I mean, is it a new construction? They said it's been there forever. So I'm thinking, AIS 1, AIS 2, AIS 3, the road is still the same. I think these are things that need to be worked on because this is roads, but then in between the roads, because of erosion and the rains, there are gullies and all kinds of things there. So at one point, the rider in front of you blows so much dust, just a lot of dust. So you can't really see. Visibility is poor. So you are just following with the back, the indicator lights that are showing. So I think at some point, I just missed it and I fell into a gully and I fell. I don't think I've ever fallen like that in my life. It was a heavy fall. There was a bit of a drag, you know. But luckily, I was heavily protected. So I had my hip guard, I had my elbows, everything. So I basically just picked up myself and then picked up my bike. The only thing was that my foot peg, the right one, was bent backwards. So now I could not, it was very difficult to position my leg properly.
To use the back brake.
To use the back brake. So my whole trip, that was a challenge. And then the other challenge was that, you know, when you get to rough roads and where there are speed ramps, sometimes, especially because my bike is not a typical adventure bike, you need to stand a little so that you can have some extra suspension in your knees. I couldn't do that because my foot peg was bent. So it was only when it was extremely necessary that I did that. So that was day 2. Day 3 was my most exciting day. So day 3 was to Sunyani.
Oh, okay.
And
from Cape 3 Points,
we went to Ashanti region.
Okay.
We slept in Ashanti region.
Okay.
Yes, and then from Ashanti region, we connected through Bui Dam and then to Sunyani. I enjoyed that trip because the roads were good, and you know the adventure bikes were showing me Pepe on the rough roads, and I was also showing them Pepe on the good road.
I can imagine.
Yeah, so that was exciting. So it was good road, a very nice experience. And then, and then the day 4, Eddie, day 4, we're supposed to go to the hippo sanctuary. Day 4 was treacherous. Day 4 was tiring. Day 4 was hydrating. Day 4 was simply stress. I don't know what adjective to describe it. So we started nicely. We're going to the hippo sanctuary. At some point, the road looked like a footpath.
The road just vanished.
Then the footpaths, and then the shrubs here, shrubs there, and then the main road. There's no way the bike could pass there. So you detour into the shrubs a little bit, come back out. It was sandy, and the weather then, and that's one thing I wanted to talk about. Every region had its own weather. So there were some places you would go, the weather is very humid and very hot, some were cool, some were just, you know, heat, so there was different kinds of weather being experienced all around. So the trip to Wenchiao, the hippo sanctuary, it was horrible. The roads were bad. At some point, everybody was tired, everybody was hydrated. And I think for that particular ride, we ended up splitting up in several places. So I was ahead with a few of them, somewhere in the middle, somewhere at the back. Then we kept going. only for us to get to very close to the Hippo Sanctuary, and we're told that we had to pay and buy coupons at an office in town to be able to access the sanctuary. And we needed protective gear that was in their office in town. And for me, it was just strange. I mean, we had ridden all the way there and didn't get to see the Hippo Sanctuary and had to come back. So day 4 was very difficult. But like I said, I was determined to go through the process without having to give up my bike to anybody to help me. In fact, let me tell you what made me do that. So when we're moving from Cape 3 Points heading towards the Ashanti region, the roads were also equally bad. At some point, Dan said, Rosie, if you're tired, let me get someone to take you from here so that you can sit in the car for a bit. I almost said, you know, let someone do it. But I said, no, I would have given up too easily. And right after that, like in the next 100 meters, we found good road. So in my head, I said, if I had allowed someone to take over, I would have felt so bad. That, you know, I allowed someone to take over only for us to meet good road in the next 100 meters also. So because of that, I was determined, like, you know, it's just for me, I was just thinking, it was just the next 15 minutes. I mean, sometimes maybe as a bit tired, you can't, you know, move as fast, but you just need to keep moving. And I just kept, look, just 10 meters ahead, 15 meters ahead, let's just conquer that, let's just conquer that. And the team I was with, they were amazing. They were not going to leave you behind. In fact, I was not even behind. But I'm just saying that even if I was behind, they will not leave me behind. So at the end of the day, where's the rush? Just keep going. I mean, the next 50 meters, the next 100 meters, just keep going. So we finished that. And then the 5th day, I think we ended up in Tamale. We ended up in Tamale and we slept at Jirapa, Dubai. A very nice place. I think it's a new hotel. Yeah, so it was a really nice place. The camp and the rooms are amazing. Everything is nice there. And then we went to they have a safari very close to Jirapa, Dubai. And then we saw a few animals around there. Hey, we saw a lion and the lioness. Hey, the lion roared one roar, and Charlie, the way we all jumped.
Your spirit flew out of your body.
I'm telling you, it wasn't easy. And then we also had the experience with the snake. I was afraid. I mean, I just could never get it around my neck. Some were holding it around their neck. I just couldn't. I mean, the touch of the snake, my skin just crawled.
They're very cold.
It's not, I don't think I even want to remember the experience. I just couldn't. I didn't have the heart for it. So we went around the safari, saw a few animals here and there. And yeah, and then on the 6th day, we ended up we went through Oti region and then we slept at Volta Serene Hotel. And then the cruise, what's it called? When you get onto the thing that the platoon. The platoon, yes. You know, initially I was scared riding onto it. Because from the land and where the platoon, sometimes it's not even. And around that time, you know, you're tired. You know, you've been doing, let's say 6 days so far. But I'm happy I was able to go through all that. So I rode on it myself, did everything myself. And then, you know, the ride was actually nice.
Awesome.
I was sleeping on the back of one of the pickups, looking at the skies when the thing was moving. Yes, it was awesome. And we got down and we slept at Volta Serene on the 6th day. And another thing, the curves from Oti region connecting to Volta Serene. Oh my God.
Sweet curves.
Oh my God. So the thing was, I wasn't expecting it. And it was dark. Like I said, when it's dark, it's a bit
different ball game.
And I didn't know we had such
nice curves around that place.
Curves. I had never anticipated it. So the following day, I think we're supposed to have gone to Akpafu on the 6th day. Akpafu Toji, yes. And then we missed it because of the time and everything. So on the 7th day, instead of coming straight to Accra, we had to detour, go back into and then this time around, I was like, look, this curves.
I'm not going to let it go.
Last night you did me dirty. So this time around.
Yes.
So it was actually
awesome.
It was actually a nice experience going back onto the because this time around, one, I knew what to expect, and I think that I navigated it better than I did the previous. It was a learning experience. And then we came through Akosombo and then back to Accra.
Awesome.
But then all in all, like I said, my bike was the least suited for adventure. So it was a bit difficult in terms of the suspension and all. But I like the fact that we were just a wonderful team. So we also like went through the process. And by day 2, my fingers were almost frozen.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I don't want to use the word frozen, but they were
stiff.
They were numb.
Yes, no.
So they were so numb to the extent that if you pinched my hand, most likely I would not feel it.
Yeah.
So anytime in the evening, I kept,
pumping
my hands, trying to make sure it felt something. But by the 3rd, 4th day, the feeling started coming back. But I think between the 1st and 2nd day, I don't think I've held on to my handlebars
so long.
Not so long, but as strongly as it got. So
yeah.
Especially those roads that are not potholes, but they are just rough.
Yeah.
Hard, rough surfaces, it's shaking, and then you hold on to the bar. So I had my fingers were numb at some point, and then we realized that we had to be hydrated. So we did a lot of drinking of water throughout the process so that we could hydrate very well.
I mean, in January, towards the north, it can be really, really, really hot and humid.
Yes.
So you need to hydrate, and hot and dry.
Hot and dry.
So
and we did some small charity be along the way.
Yeah.
We went to a hospital in Takrade. So we did a few things along the way. So generally, it was a nice experience. But it's a mind game. Yeah. Because, like I said earlier on, you wake up in the morning, by 5:36 you have to be up, have your meals, get ready to go. The routes are mapped out. Sometimes because of one reason or another, the routes are changed. So it's like you need to be ready for any change of plan, any change of route, any change of anything. So it was like, and when you come back in the evening, before you say jack, you have like 3-4 hours of sleep and you're up again and then you're going. So I think that it was more of a mind game, fortitude, knowing that, well, you started, you're going to finish.
So being a woman, the other team members treat you different?
Oh, so some of them know I've been riding for a while. And I'm sure the intention was to treat me differently. But once the ride started, they realized that, she could handle herself. So I didn't have situations where people were helping me pack bikes and move. No. I didn't have. And to be honest, everybody under the trip was stressed. Everybody was stressed.
Everybody was carrying their own
Everybody was carrying their own load. So the last thing you want is to be dependent on another rider to be helping you with packing your bike, doing this, doing that. And plus, you see, one thing the trip offered me was that whether I like it or not, it will make you a better rider.
Exactly.
So we rode from Accra to here for the interview, and I'm sure you could see that Rosie is a more comfortable person.
Right now you're a senior rider.
So it makes you a better rider. So when you want to be a better rider, you don't cede off certain things. You need to go through the whole experience. And I think one of the most important prerequisites in knowing whether you even deserve to sit on a particular bike is your ability to manage the bike.
I mean, I was like, did you say you lifted the bike?
You should be able to manage the bike that you are holding. So if you can't push it, you can't carry it.
I mean, if I'm buying you a motorcycle, I'll take you to the shop. Point which one you want. And I say, okay, you know what? You guys drop the motor.
You let the person pick it up.
You're able to pick it up. Yeah, you deserve to have it. No, for me, I mean, you can ride a big GS and you can't lift it.
You can't lift it some way.
Yeah, some way.
Yeah, so that's basically it. So it was a beautiful experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything else.
Around in 7.
Yeah.
Part 1, part 2, part 3.
Yes.
And all 3, you are the first lady to have made it.
Yes. So
how does that make you feel?
As usual. I've been doing this first lady to do this thing for a long time. Like the trip to Togo.
Yeah.
I was the only lady among the guys, and those times I used to ride with you. When I started riding, I was usually the only lady. Then occasionally myself and Mandy. So I've always, been the first lady among the gentlemen to do something biking related and all of that. But aside that, yes, it's an achievement which I'm very proud of. But it's not something that other ladies cannot do. But it is not a walk in the park.
It can't be a walk in the park.
Because it's not something, because most ladies, most of the time, we enjoy the dress up for the biking, the makeup for the biking, looking for bikes, color code them to your outfits and things like that.
It's like your makeup is going to be sand.
Yes, at some point we were all so dirty. Okay, so one of the riders, Fabian, I met him in town a week after, and then I realized that his side packs were actually black. I thought they were brown. So I'm like, for as much as I can remember, I thought your side packs were brown. Not knowing it was the dust, the dirt that had colored it. So it's not a walk in the park. It's not something that every lady can just get up. And dare I say, even every man can just get up and say.
So in all, you did about how many miles?
In excess of, it's about 2,718 kilometers, I think. Yes.
Okay.
So let's say
that's
approximately
about 2,500 miles.
Yes. Sort of. Yeah. So that's what we covered.
Awesome.
So it was a nice experience.
A lot of time when you look at Ghana, Ghana is a small country, so riding around in 7 days should be easy. But I think it's not an easy thing. Even finding the time. No. You are a banker. Taking the time off, was it part of your leave?
Yes, it was part of my leave. So my leave is cut short by days.
By 7 days.
So I even took extra days so that I could recoup before I go back to the office. Okay. And I think it's not even about the distance. It's about the nature of the roads you encounter. So I believe that covering this amount of distance, let's say in an area like maybe in Europe or even certain parts of Ghana that have very good laid out roads, probably be easier than doing so on the kind of terrains that we have here. So some roads were good, like the Yendi Bempila Road, awesome road, beautiful road. I think for me it's the best road I've seen so far. The road going to Sunyani was awesome. It was nice. It was exciting. But there are also other roads, like I spoke to you about, going to Cape 3 Points, from Cape 3 Points connecting to the Ashanti region, and then from going to the Wenchiao Hippo Sanctuary. Some parts going to the north, some parts were horrible. So you see, I think it's more, the adventure was actually more in the type of roads, and then obviously the experiences we had along the way.
Awesome. So now that you've had this experience, if you have to do it again, what will you do differently?
Oh, change my bike.
Change your bike.
Yes. Change my bike.
Okay.
And because I felt I was the most stressed bike-wise in the group. So the first thing I'll probably do be eyeing the itinerary, but the itinerary is a bit high.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that I could overcome that height and make sure I can manage the bike properly, so that I'll not be at the mercy of the height. But apart from that, I think that I'm eyeing getting that so that it would aid better, because some of the other bikes are probably too heavy for me. Like the GS. The GS is just in terms of aesthetic, it's just too heavy. It's too wide. It's too wide. It's just too much to handle. So I'm thinking that maybe the Teneri or the African Twin, one of the two. I told you I wanted an African Twin sometime back when we did the Ride with Rosie interview. So it's still on the table, but I like the fact that the Teneri is slender. It's slimmer, It's slimmer. So, and when we were going on the first day, I had to, Dan and I did a swap
at
some point for a short period. So I rode his bike, the Teneri, for like 20 minutes to Kakum.
Oh, okay.
And the places that were rough, I mean, I practically just bounced through everything, and I enjoyed that feeling. So if Ride Channel will dash me Teneri,
we don't catch there yet.
I'll do justice to it for you.
We don't catch
and
there
give
yet.
You positive reviews.
We don't catch there. We will catch there. All right, Yamaha, if you are listening to us, bring us some T7s and we will do an awesome video and review.
Yes.
Real world. Yeah. We'll just take off and do over 3,000, kilometers around the country.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have all the different terrains, serious ones. So we'll do that and we'll tell you all about them. Awesome, Rosie. It's always a great time having you on the right channel. And AIS 2023 being the only woman to be able. I'm sure this is going to open.
Oh, it has to. It has to. I mean, for next year, there are about 2 or 3 ladies I would actually convince to actually be on the trip.
Are you going to go on the trip next?
Oh, if most likely I would go. That's the agenda.
Get a bike.
Yes, especially because in my case, Dan and I have to take off and leave the kids, so it gets a bit complicated. So if next year I'm able to be on it, I will jump at the opportunity. I wouldn't slack at all. But I'm looking at 2 or 3 other ladies that could equally go on the ride. and actually make women even more proud than I did. Great. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we've seen you when you started riding your first bike, second bike, third bike till now. So we are so proud, you know, having you go on this trip. I mean, we're following you on social media and all the videos, and it's awesome. And it's awesome to catch up with you for all our viewers on our channel. Yeah. So please, yes, can you announce your social so that our viewers can follow you?
Okay, so my social, Salsarozie, that is Salsarozie.
She's a wicked salsa
dancer. And that is the only handle I have on all channels: Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, IG. Yeah, that's Instagram, IG, and then TikTok. Even Clubhouse, everywhere. Just Salsarozie, and then you find me. Just one handle everywhere.
Catch up. I mean, if you a lady out there, you like her story, follow her, and we can open the chat channels.
Yes.
And we don't know where it's going to take to, but I know it's all going to be wonderful experiences. Thank you as always. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the right channel. Bye for now.
Bye.